Did you know that every morning you wake up without a reason to get out of bed is a day your body quietly begins to decline? Not because of age, but because there's nothing left that keeps your heart moving forward. How long has it been since a new day felt truly meaningful to you? I've seen many patients who were physically healthy but emotionally completely exhausted, and often the reason is this: they no longer had a purpose to live for. I remember a patient, 75 years old, once told me, "Doctor, I don't think I'm living anymore. I'm just waiting for time to pass." If you've ever felt that way, this video is for you. 1. Not drinking enough water. Had many patients tell me the same thing. "Doctor, I avoid drinking water in the evening. I don't want to wake up at night to go to the bathroom." And I get it. At 60 or 70, getting out of bed at night isn't simple anymore. Aching knees, slippery floors, poor vision, all of that makes us want to avoid nighttime trips as much as possible. But here's what I gently say back, and I want you to hear this today. By avoiding water, you might be quietly hurting your brain. I want you to imagine this. At night, while you sleep, your brain doesn't rest. It works hard, filtering toxins, regulating body temperature, processing emotions, and most importantly, cleansing your memories. But to do all that, it needs one simple thing: water. One of my patients, Edna, 74, used to wake up feeling groggy with a dry mouth, sometimes even lightheaded. She thought it was just aging. But once she adjusted her evening water habit, a small glass after dinner and nothing for the last hour before bed, everything changed. She woke up clearer, lighter, and more refreshed. Have you ever felt like you slept, yet didn't feel awake the next morning? The truth is, even mild dehydration, even if you don't feel thirsty, can impact memory, focus, and mood. The brain gets thirsty long before the body complains. You don't need to chug water right before bed, but learn to negotiate with hydration. A small glass around 7 p.m., a few sips if you're thirsty. That's enough to nourish the brain all night long. Sometimes, a deep sleep and a clear morning doesn't come from pills. It starts with the right sip of water. 2. Lack of daily movement. Let me ask you something, the same question I once asked a patient of mine, Mr. Henry, 78 years old, retired, living alone, and an avid fan of the evening news. "Mr. Henry, do you move around much during the day?" He chuckled, a little embarrassed, and said, "Well, Doc, I mostly just pace around the house. I get tired easily, so I don't really go out much." And I understood. At this age, not everyone has the energy to go jogging or hit the gym. But here's what I always remind my patients. Movement doesn't have to be intense. It just needs to be consistent. When we sit too long or lie down too much, whether out of habit or rest, our muscles slowly lose flexibility. Our joints stiffen, and blood flow becomes sluggish, and what comes next? Fatigue, slowness, and most concerning of all, the risk of falling. I've seen it too many times. A small slip in the bathroom or a misstep getting out of a chair, and suddenly life is turned upside down. But it doesn't have to be that way. A few minutes each day to wake up your body can make all the difference. You don't need a gym. A few stretches when you get out of bed, a walk around the yard or even down the hallway, standing up and sitting down gently every hour. All these things help keep blood flowing, joints limber, and balance steady. Have you ever felt a bit wobbly or dizzy when standing up? It might not just be aging, it could be your body quietly asking for movement. Moving your body is a gentle message. I still care about you. And when you do that, day after day, it becomes an invisible shield, one that protects your strength, stability, and independence as the years go on. 3. Eating too much unhealthy food. I once had a patient, Mrs. Helen, 74, who had a sweet tooth. She told me, "Doctor, Every afternoon I crave a cookie, maybe some ice cream and a few chips while watching TV. What's the harm? I live alone, no one's stopping me. I nodded, then gently asked, "Do you really remember much about those meals afterward, or just the emptiness that followed?" She paused, then quietly said, "Honestly, I feel tired, a little down, and sometimes like my mind is foggy. You see, food doesn't just go to your stomach, it travels to your heart, your blood vessels, and every single brain cell. When we consume too much sugar, salt, and bad fats, the kind found in fast food, packaged cookies, and processed snacks, the body pays a high price. Sugar fuels silent inflammation in your arteries. Salt raises blood pressure and strains your heart and kidneys. And unhealthy fats block oxygen from reaching the brain. Slowly but surely, memory fades. Clarity blurs like a beautiful painting gathering dust over time. I'm not saying you need to live like a monk. No cake, no treats, no fried foods ever again. But you can choose more mindfully: an apple instead of a cookie, steamed veggies and grilled fish instead of fried chicken. Each decision is a quiet act of kindness to your heart and your brain. Your body, after all, still shows up for you every single day, so nourish it with respect. And every bite, if chosen well, becomes a small thank you to yourself. 4. Skipping regular health checkups. I still remember Mr. Frank, 69 years old, a confident, seemingly healthy man who rarely visited the clinic. He once told me, half jokingly, "Doc, if nothing hurts, then I must be fine. At my age, I just take each day as it comes." I smiled, then replied with a truth that's gentle but important, "Mr. Frank, sometimes what doesn't hurt is exactly what we should worry about." Have you ever thought that way too? That no symptoms must mean no problems? The truth is, many serious conditions begin silently. High blood pressure, diabetes, even cancer or neurodegenerative diseases often start with nothing more than some mild fatigue, occasional insomnia, or a bit of dizziness. Things we're quick to blame on getting older. But by the time we notice something's wrong, the disease may have already progressed, and at that point, time becomes a luxury. Regular checkups aren't about treating illness, they're about protecting your clarity, your independence, and your right to choose. It's a way of showing care for your body by checking in, listening closely, and stepping in early, before it's too late. Just one health check every 6 months: blood pressure, blood sugar, kidney function, heart health, memory is often enough to catch hidden risks before they grow. Don't let your body's silence fool you. And you don't need to fear doctors. We're not here to scare you. We're here to walk beside you to help you stay strong, steady, and fully present with your children and grandchildren. And if it's been a while since your last checkup, maybe it's time to make that call. Because sometimes, one timely visit can protect an entire peaceful journey ahead. 5. Poor sleep or low quality rest. I once asked a familiar patient of mine, Mrs. Judith, 72 years old, "How many hours do you sleep each night?" She sighed and said, "Doc, I'm in bed for 7 or 8 hours, but I keep waking up, and in the morning I still feel exhausted, like I never really slept." Have you ever felt that way? Eyes closed all night, but your brain never seemed to rest. Sleep isn't just a break. It's the golden hour when the body repairs itself. During deep sleep, the immune system restores, neurons organize memories, and hormones balance your mood. If you miss that, or if your sleep is shallow and interrupted, the next day will show it. Fatigue, irritability, brain fog. I've seen so many older adults sacrifice sleep for late-night TV, worrying about family or waking up repeatedly due to dehydration or frequent nighttime urination. Those little things, seemingly harmless, can slowly chip away at memory, weaken immunity, and leave emotions fragile. Good sleep isn't a luxury, It's the foundation of a clear mind and a healthy body. And trust me, after 60, a full night's rest is more powerful than most pills. So tonight, if you're getting ready for bed, try something different. Turn off screens an hour earlier, dim the lights, and take a few deep breaths. You deserve a peaceful night, one that protects your brain and lets you wake up feeling truly refreshed. 6. Skipping meals, especially breakfast. I know some mornings you wake up late, don't feel hungry, or just want to grab a quick cup of coffee and get on with the day. Breakfast, many people think, is optional. But at this age, breakfast isn't just a habit. It's your way of saying to your body, I still care about you. One of my patients, Mrs. Elaine, 68 years old, came to see me with ongoing fatigue, lightheadedness in the morning, and emotional ups and downs. When I asked about her eating habits, she sighed. Honestly, doctor, I usually skip breakfast. I'm just not hungry in the morning and I don't feel like cooking. I looked at her and gently said, your body, especially your brain, needs fuel, like a car needs gas. When you skip breakfast, you're not just starving your stomach, you're putting stress on your nervous and metabolic systems. You see, after a long night, your blood sugar is already low. If you don't eat, your body compensates by releasing stress hormones like cortisol, which isn't great for your brain or mood. You might feel irritable, foggy, or mentally slow, and if this becomes a pattern, it can affect your memory, emotional stability, and even raise your risk of type 2 diabetes. I'm not saying you need a big or fancy breakfast. Just something gentle and steady. A slice of whole grain toast with peanut butter, a warm glass of oat milk, a boiled egg. That's enough to wake up your system and keep your blood sugar balanced, so tomorrow morning, before you reach for that coffee, ask yourself, have I given my body a kind start today? Breakfast isn't just a meal, it's an investment in your energy, your clarity, and the healthy future you deserve. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more heart-to-heart health conversations like this one living with a negative mindset. Let me ask you something from the heart. Have you been feeling more irritable lately? Do small things get under your skin? Have you ever laid down at night only to find your mind still spinning with thoughts you can't quite name? One of my patients, Mr. Gerald, 73, once confided in me, Doctor, I find myself snapping at everything lately. Sometimes it's a silly argument with my wife. Sometimes it's something I saw on the news. I know it's not healthy, but I can't seem to control it. I didn't blame him, because I know that after 60, life still comes with invisible pressures about health, finances, children, loneliness, and over time, all that weight collects like water steadily dripping onto stone. But here's the truth. When you live too long in a state of worry, anger, or negativity, your body doesn't just feel sad, it reacts as if it's under threat. Your adrenal glands release cortisol, the stress hormone that helps you cope. But if cortisol remains high every day, it begins to damage your nervous system. It can weaken memory, cloud concentration, and even harm the very cells in your brain responsible for storing memories. And it doesn't stop there. Chronic emotional stress can exhaust your heart, raise your blood pressure, and steal the peace from your sleep. Now, you may not be able to change all your circumstances, but you can change how you face them. I often encourage my patients to begin with something small. Each morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. When irritation rises, place a hand over your heart. Take a deep breath and say out loud, I choose peace. It may sound simple, but done daily, these gentle practices can calm the storm within and help your brain begin to heal. Growing older doesn't have to mean growing bitter. It can be a softer, more peaceful chapter if you choose to live with more light than shadow. And I believe you can start that shift today. 2. Not spending enough time socializing. I want you to picture this. You wake up to a quiet morning. No voices, no laughter, no one calling your name. You look around the familiar house, everything's in its place, except one thing: connection. I've sat with many patients in their 70s and 80s, people with strong hearts, clear lungs, but empty hearts. They've said to me, "Doctor, I have everything, a home, my meds, a retirement check, but no one to talk to. I don't want to bother the kids, and most of my friends are gone." And I understand. I've felt that kind of silence too. But here's what you need to know. Chronic loneliness doesn't just make you sad, it physically damages the brain. Studies to have shown that when older adults live in isolation without conversation or community, the parts of the brain responsible for memory, decision-making, and emotional balance start to shrink. That raises the risk of Alzheimer's, depression, and even immune dysfunction. Your brain, much like your heart, needs to be touched by eye contact, warm words, a hug, or even just a phone call. We weren't made to live life alone. Whether introverted or quiet, everyone needs to be seen and heard, and connection doesn't have to be big or dramatic. One of my patients, Ms. Rose, 76, started by signing up for a cooking class at her local community center. She told me I didn't go to learn recipes. I went because I missed seeing people smile. After that, her memory noticeably improved and her sleep deepened. 2. You can start with a phone call to an old friend, a gentle yoga class at a local center, or even just a smile and chat with someone at the park. Loneliness is not your destiny after 60. It's a signal reminding you it's time to open your heart and let someone in, because sometimes what your brain needs most isn't medicine. It's a warm, simple conversation. 3. Not stretching or doing light daily movement. Take a moment right now and check in with your body. Are your shoulders tight? Is your back a bit sore? Do your knees creak every time you stand up? If you answered yes, you're not alone. One of the most common things I see in people over 60 is a creeping stiffness, like the body is slowly locking itself down. And believe it or not, it's often not because of age, but because of a lack of gentle, daily movement. One patient of mine, Mr. Jerry, 68, once said to me, "Doctor, I'm not lazy. I garden, I do the shopping. But every morning I wake up stiff as a board. Those first few steps feel like I'm walking on gravel." So I asked him, "Do you stretch or do light exercises every day?" He looked surprised. "Stretch? I thought only young folks needed that." Here's what I want you to understand. Our bodies, especially after 60, need to be woken up each day. Like an old car that hasn't been started. Parts begin to stiffen, dry out, rust. Joints lose lubrication, muscles tighten, ligaments and tendons lose elasticity. And then we blame it on age, when in fact, just 5 minutes of gentle stretching could have changed everything. You don't need to train like an athlete, you don't need a gym. All you need is 5 to 10 minutes, a few arm stretches, roll your wrists and ankles, gently extend your spine. Try some simple chair yoga, or take a slow walk around the yard, breathing deeply, waking up the joints and sending blood through your system. Do this daily, and over time, you'll notice your body moves more easily. You stand and sit with less strain, even your mood lifts. Most importantly, you'll reduce your risk of joint degeneration, something that robs many older adults of independence and quality of life. Daily movement isn't just exercise, it's a love note to your body. And the beauty is, you can start tomorrow morning with one deep stretch and a quiet promise to yourself. I will take care of these legs, these shoulders, so they can carry me through many more days to come. For staying up late watching TV or using electronic devices, let me ask you to think back to a recent night you were lying in bed, planning to sleep, but then came the thought, just a few more minutes, one more episode, one more news clip, a little scrolling on your phone, and before you knew it, it was nearly midnight. Sound familiar? I've heard this story from hundreds of my patients, folks in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, struggling with
Sleep. One of the most surprising reasons behind their sleepless nights. The glow of the TV, phone or tablet right before bed, you see. Our bodies don't just rely on alarm clocks, we rely on light to tell us when it's time to be awake and when it's time to rest. The blue light from screens, especially the flickering bright kind late at night, disrupts your brain's production of melatonin, the sleep hormone your body needs to drift into deep healing sleep. I once told a patient, this is 71 years old, "You're not losing sleep because of age. You're losing sleep because the light is lying to your brain. It's telling you it's still daytime." She laughed, then fell silent, because she knew I was right. Maybe you felt it too. You're exhausted, yet you toss and turn. You wake up feeling foggy and drained, like your brain never truly rested. Sleeping without melatonin is like driving through fog. You move forward, but you never really recover, and over time that leads to memory loss, mood swings, heart stroke, even raises the risk of dementia. So what's the solution? You don't have to give up every comfort. You just need to create a gentle night shift for your body. About 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime, turn off the TV. Set your phone aside, dim the lights, read a book, play soft music, or simply sit quietly. When you do this regularly, your body learns, night is here, it's time to heal. Melatonin returns, and real, deep sleep follows. I always remind my patients, sleep isn't about shutting down, it's a journey back to yourself. And that journey begins with soft light both outside and within. 5. Skipping mental relaxation before bed now. Imagine this. You're about to board a long-haul flight. The plane can't just take off immediately. Needs time to warm up. Run system checks. Let the engines hum. Your brain is no different. But every night, so many people, especially after 60, treat bedtime like flipping a switch. Lights off. Get in bed, close your eyes, and just hope your brain figures out it's time to rest. But it doesn't work like that, does it? The human brain doesn't operate on an on-off switch. It needs time to land, to slow down. And if you don't give yourself a few minutes to mentally unwind, your brain keeps flying, restless and alert. I had a patient, Mr. Raymond, 74, who told me, "Doc, I go to bed at 10, but it's nearly 1 a.m. before I can fall asleep. My mind is racing tomorrow's errands, yesterday's news, things I forgot to do." And I said to him, just like I'm saying to you now, falling asleep isn't just about lying down, it's about letting go. If your mind is still full of worries, plans and headlines, how can it possibly relax? This is why I always suggest a simple nighttime ritual. 10 to 15 minutes of quiet time before bed. No TV, no phones, no news. Instead, try listening to calming music. Writing down a few things you're grateful for, breathing slowly, closing your eyes, and just being present. Just that and you might be amazed. Sleep comes faster, it runs deeper. And you don't just wake up, you feel restored. We spend the whole day caring for the world, but we forget to care for ourselves right before the most healing time of all. So tonight, my friend, let your mind gently land with intention, with care, and with love. 1. Living without purpose or daily engagement. I once asked a patient of Mina, retired engineer in his late 70s, "What's the first thing on your mind each morning?" He looked at me, paused, and said quietly, "Honestly, nothing. I wake up, pour a cup of coffee, stare out the window, and that's how the day passes." And I knew he wasn't alone. Many people over 60 enter a space that isn't quite sadness but isn't joy either. It's just emptiness. When work ends, when the kids are grown, when old roles fade, it's easy to drift into a passive life, letting time pass without direction. But here's the truth. That quiet drifting slowly erodes your whole body health. And I'm not talking about chasing big, lofty goals. You don't need to start a business or earn a new degree. I'm talking about a reason,
Any reason to get up in the morning, a morning walk with a friend, watering your balcony plants, writing in a journal, calling a loved one, or learning a new recipe. When you live with even a small purpose, your brain shifts. It releases dopamine, the motivation chemical that brings energy and joy. Your heart rate stabilizes. Your immune system strengthens. Your mood lifts. I've seen remarkable changes in patients who simply started planning their next day, just knowing tomorrow I have something to do puts your mind and body into a whole new state of living, not just existing. You've lived a rich, meaningful life, and you still have so much to offer both to yourself and to the world. So the next time you open your eyes in the morning and wonder what is today for, remember, the answer doesn't have to be big, it just has to be real. And sometimes, that little purpose is the most powerful medicine of all. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to support our channel. Conclusion: healthy living isn't just about a beating heart, breathing lungs, or steady blood pressure. It's about waking up each day, knowing why you're still here. After 6E, you don't need more noise, you need more purpose, because purpose, even the smallest kind, is what keeps your spirit warm, your steps steady, and your mind sharp through every passing day. So live, don't just exist, and let that living begin today.